In this video, I'm going to show you how to make these silk fans.
Hello and welcome back to the next part of our silk fan making workshop. In the last video, we gathered all our supplies and materials, and in this workshop, we're going to be building the staves to form the bases to stick on our silks to create our fans. So it's really important that we have our rivet, and we need the rivet right at the start because we need to know the size of the rivet, because that will tell us how big to make the holes. So this one, you can see, is quite slim. It's just between, it's about 3 millimeters. So it's about 2.5, 3 millimeters. So we need a 3 millimeter drill bit. So as you can see, the drill and the rivet are about the same size. So we're going to use that to make the first hole to use as a template. So we're going to take our first stave and we're going to mark in at about 2 centimeters where we're going to drill the hole. Now we don't want to make it too much longer than this, because remember, this is the part that we're going to hold in our hand, and we don't want to make that opening point too long, or it's going to be difficult to hold. So we've marked up the first one and we're going to drill our first hole. We can now use this first one as a template to make the next one. We're going to repeat this process now until we have all 12 staves drilled. So now we've drilled our holes, we're going to just push the rivet through the first hole and then add on each one. So we gradually build up the fan. Okay, so now that we've got all our staves on, let's do one last check. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We've only got 11. And one more makes 12. So it's always worth checking, because we do really need the 12 staves to get a good, well-evened flow with the fan. So now we've got all 12 on. It's going to be really tight, but we take that little topper for the rivet, we push that in, give him a whack with a hammer, and then you can see how wide. If we just measure that off, you should be able to see that we're at about 2.5 centimeters there. So you need to make sure that your rivet that you buy is about 2.5 centimeters. And then we're going to take this now and bang that rivet in really hard. You may need to go and find a hard surface to do that on, possibly outside on a pavement somewhere, so that you can really bang that rivet home. So now we've got the rivet holding the fan staves in place, and we don't need to worry at this stage about making the left and right. We're going to do that in the next section when we attach the silk to the fan staves. That will determine which way we're having the silk fan. So we're going to have them to the right for our right hand and to the left for our left hand. But I'll show you that in more detail in the next section. So we've made our 2 sets of fan staves. So now we need to attach the silk to the staves. So this next section is firstly going to be about cutting the silk so that we've got the right size to attach to the staves. Now the key thing with these fan staves is that we make the left and right hands. Now this happens in how we glue the silk fans onto the staves. So in this section we're going to be looking really closely and carefully at how we make a left hand and a right-handed set of fan veils so that we can use them easily in our work and in our dancing. And the other really key thing is that we need to look at making the silk fan wider than the actual staves and more of a square shape than we would typically see in the slightly shorter fan veils. They tend to be longer and thinner. We're going to be going for more of a square shape with our silks. So we'll move now to the cutting table and you can follow exactly what I'm doing. So as you can see, I'm going to use the width of the veil and I'm taking it out over the edges of the staves. Normally I'd be looking for about 1.5 meters, but as it turns out this veil is round about 110 centimeters, but that's okay. That's going to give me enough width to go over the edges. I'm just going to make it a little bit longer this way so that I won't have an exact square. I'll have more of a rectangle, but it will still give the same effect of the squarer fan rather than the long thin fan. I've decided to go for 150. I can see whether I like the extra length, and I can always cut a bit more off at the end if I don't like it. But obviously, like anything else, I can't put it back if I decide I would have liked them a bit longer. I've got plenty of fabric in these silk fans, so I'm just going to cut these. I'm just going a bit carefully because I'm outside in the garden today, and every now and then I get a bluster of wind. So now I have my longer piece to make the length of my fan. It will be this way round. That will be the width. That will be the longer piece. And then this shorter piece, I need to save this and keep this piece safe because I'm going to be using this piece to back the staves on the other side and cover them so that the fans look attractive whichever way round they are. So we're going to keep that piece for later. I'm just going to cut the second fan now. Now the next thing I need to do is find the midpoint of my width. Now I'm helped with this fabric because we've got the halfway ombre tie-dye, but if I just check from the edge into the middle, find my 55 centimeters for my halfway point. I'm just going to mark that off for now. Just double check. Yeah, we're about 55 that way as well. That says about 56 if I stretch it. Let's see. Yeah, that's about 56 stretched as well. Okay, now the next thing we need is we need a little pattern of a semicircle just to cut out a shape here so that we have somewhere for the fan to open. So if you think about a fan, the fabric doesn't come all the way down to here. There's this bit of space in this section, and it's kind of personal choice how much space you want, but I reckon about that much is about right on the fans that we are making. So that there just see, about 11 centimetres in from the end, from the rivet. That's, yeah. So let's see how wide we are across. 23, yes, about 11 and a half. And then you make your semicircle. I'm just going to pin this on here on the edge and then cut it out. Obviously very tricky fabric to work with, silk, so I'm just going to find the middle of this little pattern I've got here by folding it in half. Keep that midway point as best I can. Right, so I'm just going to cut this out now.
So we've got everything cut and ready to make these beautiful fans that I'm using in this performance. They are really such fun to dance with. You're going to love working with them. We're going to look at sticking the silk fans onto the staves in part 3 because it's so crucial to get the right and left hand that this part of the tutorial needs its own focus. So go and grab yourself a coffee and come and join me for part 3. And if you're enjoying these tutorials, please comment below, like and subscribe because it all helps my small channel, and I will see you in the next video.